30-year fixed mortgage rates falling to near record lows. That's good news for the few who can afford a home or if you're eligible to refinance. But these plummeting rates have done little to lift the housing market. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Clint Greenleaf is the CEO of Greenleaf Book Group in Austin, Texas. Karen Nussel is a Republican strategist in D.C. And George Jarkesy, a managing member at John Thomas Capital Management Group. Clint, let's start with you. I mean, come on, nobody can even touch these rates. They're beautiful, but what about it?
You know, these rates are so fantastic. You're talking about sub-4 rates for a lot of people right now. In looking at ranch land here in Texas, for 30% down, up to $3 million, it's 3.89% for a ranch. Now, like you said, though, if you don't qualify, if you don't have the right numbers, you're not going to be able to touch it.
Karen, is this the kind of thing that could turn the housing market around, and will it be good ultimately for people who are in office right now? If you remember that you got that below 4% mortgage rate when so-and-so was in office, the president was in office.
I'm not sure that any policymakers are going to get much credit for this. I think what you're seeing here is the real supply and demand at work. I mean, it's small comfort. It is a comfort, but a small comfort that the lenders are actually figuring out that they should lend to people who are qualified. And so what you see is fewer people qualified, fewer loans, rates go down. It's just, you know, this to me is just supply and demand. But good news, I think, for the long term, in the fact that it looks like this correction is finally taken hold.
Well, supply and demand and the fact that there is this debate over credit all across the planet. George, what do you say? Is this a meaningful move?
Yeah, it is a meaningful move because you have a lot of people out there that have mortgages that are going to refinance them. And you've got these mortgage situations where they had variable rates and what have you, and those are dropping. And so they're getting into normal mortgage, which makes them feel stable, which will allow them to spend more money, and it also allow them to invest in businesses or other things that can make the economy better.
Listen, let me tell you, if everybody could get that rate, we would not have a recession, I'm telling you. All right, gold's still volatile today, but instead of all green, the precious metal actually falling today. This is the CME Group decided to raise trading margins for gold futures. George.
Good PR move, because they waited until gold was at its height to increase that margin. And if you look at it, while the margins increased, I still think gold is going to go up. Temporarily it made gold come off, but gold is tied to inflation, and we're going to have inflation to get out of this mess.
Oh boy, Clint, what do you say?
I think George is right. I mean, this is a great buying opportunity. When you see a 22% increase by the CME, this is a momentary lapse. It's like the government trying to release the strategic petroleum reserves for 3 days. It's not going to do anything. It's just a good buying opportunity.
All right. Karen, what do you say?
Well, as an average investor, I just think that the market seems a little wacky right now, and it's probably a little scary for most people because what's happening isn't a result of real value. It's just people trying to find a safe haven and somewhere to go. So, you know, I'm not going to make a comment on whether or not gold is worth that or not, but it just seems like the volatility is causing people to act emotionally rather than on any actual indicators.
Karen, I think that's the best description I've heard of the market all week. Wacky, that is right. All right, the New York Post is reporting on former New York law school students suing the school. Recent grads say they were promised a high-paying job, and now that they haven't found one, they want their money back. What do you say, Karen?
Well, I don't think anyone is going to hear the story and not roll their eyes. I mean, I can't believe these are actual graduates. They must not have paid attention in their contracts course. There's a big difference between marketing copy and a contract. And I just think this is crazy, and it just shows you what happens when you have a bunch of lawyers with too much time on their hands. And I hope we just never go through a time when there are too many surgeons with time on their hands.
George, what do you say?
Well, I think that, I feel sorry that the students don't have good jobs. But what I do feel like is that if they took the time and we took the brightest minds in this country and put it on building things, creating things, what have you, we'd be better off than having more attorneys.
Ah, I love that answer. Okay, Clint, what do you say?
Yeah, I love that attorneys are fighting attorneys. This is like finding out two terrorists got in a fist fight. I mean, I want them to beat each other up. I want them to take each other out, and thank God they're not suing people who actually do something and build this country the way we should.
All right, you hear that, attorneys? Clint, George, and Karen, thank you so much.